Right, we are giving you a chance to win a brand new DS-ADAPT driver, the head of your choice at the loft of your choice with one of the stock shafts of your choice. And if you can get here, I'm even going to throw in a free fit-in as well. So we've got the LS, the X, the Max K and the Max D. And all you got to do to win one of these drivers is make sure you're subscribed. Like if everyone that's watching right now subscribed, we would absolutely fly past 30,000 subscribers and that would make us extremely happy. Also like the video and comment below. Let me know what you think is going to be the best driver of 2025. I know they haven't all been released yet, but they've all been leaked a little bit. So I'm sure you've all seen them. Let me know what's piqued your interest the most and what you're most looking forward to hitting in 2025. So we're going to draw the winner at random on the 27th of December. So make sure you stay tuned for that and good luck. Right, we're not messing around. We're jumping straight into new versus old. None of that initial reaction review nonsense. Straight into the hard-hitting questions to find out, is newer better? And today we're focusing specifically on drivers. Obviously, Cobra have launched their new DS-ADAPT line of woods. You've got the four heads, you've got the LS, the X, the Max K, the Max D. Today we're focusing on that LS model, new versus old. I specifically haven't really watched any kind of tech reviews or anything like that on these drivers. Obviously I know about the sleeve, we'll touch on that in another video probably, but I don't know too much about the tech story. I want to come at this with a completely open mind, take it out of the packet, plug it into a shaft, hit it on quad, give you guys my straight initial thoughts, reactions live. You're going to see after I've hit the old model. We're going to be talking looks, sound, feel, performance, numbers, data, everything to see is newer better. Okay, starting off in OG DarkSpeed, so 2024 DarkSpeed. So we've got the LS heads today, obviously. So this is the LS head, 9 degree, just set at 9 degree neutral. From a weight setup perspective, obviously we've still got the 2 at the front and 1 at the back. In the old DarkSpeed, we had 2 3s and a 12. So obviously I'll have them set up the same. We'll go over that later in the other setup, but we've got the heavy weight at the back, so the 12 at the back. So 9 degree headset neutral, heavy weight at the back. We've got the brand new Fuji Pro Black 60X. So first time I've ever hit this or seen this shaft actually. So it'll be a really interesting little test of this shaft as well. 44.5-inch playing length, swing weight D4. And that is a good way to start. That was absolutely middled. Half expected to go a bit further than that, but that's I'll absolutely take that start. Yeah, fantastic strike. 11.5 launch, 2.5 backspin, 144 efficiency. Very good start. So obviously this is going to be the performance section of this video. This is going to be good strikes with this, and I'll jump into good strikes with the new DS-ADAPT. And then at the end, we'll go over kind of heel and toe strikes and talk about forgiveness. It's a bit of a high right. No, I'll take it. Getting the strike was good. Come on. Oh, that is not a second shot you would want, is it? Again, it feels really good. Again, another great strike. Feels really good. I'm going to be interested to see the feel difference between these two, because I've only had a very brief hit with that the other day. So this is going to be my first proper sort of hit and test. And I feel like this face feels really good out the middle. Can be a bit harsh at times, I've felt, with the old DarkSpeed, but those two, yeah, really did come off very nice. That was a necky one. Again, it'll be interesting. I'll leave that one in. I mean, it was a bit of a miss hit and I left the face a fraction open. Be interesting to see the difference in those sort of ones. So yeah, creeping a little bit heel side. I did leave the face 2 degrees open, so obviously it's going to go right. But it'll just be interesting to launch and spin and distance drop off. I mean, the face is 2 degrees open, doesn't matter what you're hitting, it's going to go pretty far right. But it'll be interesting to compare those ones. That was pretty damn straight. Very straight. On the line straight. Go on. Oh. Could not get much straight. I mean, that was literally 0 side spin. Whew. That's almost a 0, 0, 0, 0. That, yeah, I mean, 2.6 spin. I don't hate that, to be honest. It's maybe a fraction more than I'd like to see, but do not mind that. Got the heavyweight at the back. Just try and give it a little bit more stability because I haven't been striking the ball great recently, although pretty much every single one of those was bang out the middle. But yeah, really good numbers. Just, yeah, can't really grumble at any of those, apart from that one I heeled a little bit with the face open and it kind of off into the right rough, but the rest have actually been really good. I must say it does feel very solid, to be fair. I mean, it is quite a hard sort of firm feeling driver, which I think a lot of people don't necessarily like, but it gives you a bit of pop. Feels like it's coming off hot, feels like it's coming off fast. you know, which generally, these are pretty quick drivers, but I'm so intrigued to see how that feels. And that's another pretty nice one. Really good strike. Yeah. Seems to be about that benchmark, 163, 164 ball speed. Maybe launching a little bit low there. It's coming out quite low, like sub 10 launch that. But again, strikes have been really good. So yeah, 163, 164 ball speed, kind of carrying around that 280 sort of marks where I'm at today, I would say. Probably launching a bit lower than I'd like, but okay with that. Yeah, let's jump into the new one. So here we go into the new DS-ADAPT LS. Exactly the same setup. So obviously the LS head, we've got the 9 degrees just set in A1. Obviously I'm not going to dive into their new sleeve too much today. I'm sure you all know about that Future Fit 33, a ridiculous amount of adjustment. We'll do a separate video on that. We'll do a review of all these drivers. But yeah, just set in A1 today, standard loft, standard line, 9 degree. So we've still got the same options in terms of 2 weights at the front, 1 at the back. I've got the same setup. So this, we've got 2 3s and a 10 now, I think it is. Yeah, 10. So we've got the 10 gram at the back. It's the same setup, same shaft in the Fuji Pro Black 60X, same playing length, 45.5, same swing weight, D4. The first thing I'm going to pick up on is the look down by the ball. It sits a lot nicer. It just looks a better shape. The old school one was very triangular. So this almost looks squatter front to back, not as pulled back to that kind of point like the old one was. Much rounder, much nicer shape, sits squarer, just, yeah, and even the addition of kind of like, it looks like the LTD, sort of that little sliver down the front, and it's still black on black. It looks really nice, honestly. Like, that probably is one of the nicest drivers I think I've seen down by the ball. Just sits lovely. Oh, that feels different. That feels really different. That felt better, definitely better. Okay, so a 280 carry, 11 launch, 2-3 backspin, 161 ball. Okay, yeah. So seems like ball speed's down. No, it would just be me more than anything. But yeah, great strike, good ball flight. Again, just not curving the ball at all today. Had 4 revs of right spin on it, super neutral. But I mean, I will say that felt just much nicer. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm not very good at this, but that felt less harsh, just a little bit sort of softer, and just really felt like I came off the face nice. Like, that felt good. That would sound like I'm just bigging it up and talking crap, but like, honestly, that did surprise me going from that to this, how different that felt. That's a complete miss. That was such a bad strike. Wow, that's a lot more forward than I thought it was going to be. It was low heel, still span at 2-3. That's impressive. Yeah, low neck. That was not a good strike at all. So the launch comes down from the low strike. Expect that. Spin didn't come up from that strike, which I would absolutely expect. Way more spin, and it didn't. 293, 3 yards offline. Impressive. And I tell you what, even though I could tell straight away that that was a miss it was low heel, it still didn't feel too harsh. Like, it didn't feel like I was going to get killed. Yeah, it felt almost as nice as out the middle in terms of the feel off the face, and yeah, the result shows it. Oh, that felt really quite good. Just leaked it. I mean, wow, that's gone though. Wow. Wow. Again, I didn't expect that to go as far as that. So go 164 ball speed, 2-2 spin from that. It just seems like, and this is something that's really interesting when you test a new product, and it's stuff like this that we look at, like the low heel strike, the low strikes, the leaky ones. I haven't probably got a really good straight. Oh no, I did get a really good straight one. The first one, that was out the middle, and it span at 2-3. Somehow that was slightly lower in the head, a bit of a high right, and it span lower. Wow. I mean, so fascinating doing these tests, honestly, because that spin retention, that's impressive. But yeah, honestly, straight off the bat, initial sort of reactions would be, feels a lot better and looks a lot better. And even like the kind of the top of the actual driver itself as well, I think, although not a huge difference in terms of the color schemes and, you know, carbon fiber, but it's just got that little bit more of like a modern upgrade where it does look, it looks really smart, I just say. It's really smart, really sleek. Yeah, it's certainly caught my attention. What, that weren't bad either. Is that going to carry the bunker? Yeah, like comfortably. Wow. This thing's just going like longer and longer. What's going on? I don't know if it's maybe fractionally lower spin than the old model. Again, that's a little bit low in the face. It's just come out like a bullet, like it's launching more and spinning like less with similar ball speed. Interesting. And this is just like a live take at my genuine first reaction to this club. It's like 8 o'clock on a Friday night. I just wanted to get a bit of filming done after a busy day of fitting to try and get content out. Genuinely the first time I've properly hit this driver, especially head to head against the old ones. It's just, I've got nothing planned, nothing scripted, just hitting and telling you what I genuinely think. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I was absolutely ripped. Yeah. I don't know, has it got a little bit of extra juice in it? I mean, the ball speed's still the same. So, and this is what I always say, out of the middle, they're limited, right? Like no driver is ever getting any quicker. It's impossible, right? Feels unbelievably good. Honestly, that is such a good feeling driver. 2-2 spin, 11 launch. I think it maybe just launches a fraction better than that one. Again, I'll jump back into it. I really like to, find details and margins in this, but that's 285 carry, 313 total, 2-2 backspin, 164 ball speed. Those are some good numbers. I'm going to try switching it up a little bit. I'm going to try and play a fade, see what happens. Oh, that was such a bad strike. What will that do? Wow. I genuinely was not expecting that at all. That was so bottomy. Yeah, it's a really thin strike. Spin still only at 2.6 or 2.7. Playing a fade, and I thinned the absolute hell out of it. See if we can middle a fade. Fade. Oh man, that was really good. Wow, this fade goes longer than a draw. Well, to be fair, I was hitting it straight today, really. I wasn't even drawing it. I mean, yeah. Again, launch comes up a bit, spin still at 2.3. It's like the spin, it doesn't really matter where you hit it on the face. This thing just spins the same, which is super impressive. Yeah, swing speed is just fractionally quicker. I normally swing it a bit quicker when I'm trying to fade it. So ball speed comes up to 165. And wow, that was good. So just quickly jumping back into OG DarkSpeed, I want to hit that same fade shot. Definitely prefer the look of that. Looks so much better. I'll tell you what, that's very close straight off the bat. It was a fraction higher in the face, to be honest. So it did pop the launch up a little bit. I just think that's a lot lower spin, you know. Again, 2.8. Okay, it was on the equator apparently. It felt a little bit high, but not a bad strike at all. Fading back to 6 yards offline. Really nice little fade. 2.8 spin. I just think that is a low spin cannon. So performance data comparison, and it's exactly what I thought I was seeing in the test, and that is that it's just lower spin. So you see about 300 revs lower spin with the DS-ADAPT LS when compared to the old school DarkSpeed LS. So 2300 to 2600. So yeah, the way they've tweaked that CG in the head, again, I actually haven't done that much research on these heads yet. I've come into this very blind and open as hit and see what happens and see what I think of the head. So yeah, it's definitely been a tweak there in terms of internal mass, maybe the fact that it's just squatter front to back. I don't know if they've actually physically tried to move that CG further forward to bring the spin down a little bit. I don't know. But launch and spin is definitely lower in the new DS-ADAPT. Ball speed, as I thought, we're not really seeing much in it. I mean, this is coming out as 0.5 mile an hour more in the new Adapt, but it's 163 to 163.5, so not loads in it there. Ball speed, as I said, out the middle, really, they're all limited, have been for a long time. They're not getting any quicker out of the middle, realistically. So yeah, the big story is just that spin, to be honest, which gave us 5 yards extra carry, which, okay, again, you know, you're not going to say it's going to change your game, but 5 yards is 5 yards, right? But the reality of this is, for me, that's a good thing because it gave me 5 extra yards. But if you didn't need that kind of spin reduction, that wouldn't be a good thing. You know, if your spin was at 2.2 and all of a sudden you're at sort of like 18, 1900 in the new one, I'd be like, no, stick with the old one, right? So whether or not lower or higher spin is a good thing is going to be very player dependent. But for me, yeah, it did gain me 5 yards. And the peak height also came down from 111 with the DarkSpeed to 98 with the DS-ADAPT. So lower flight, descent angle from 40 with the DarkSpeed to 36.5 with the DS-ADAPT. So lower flight, hotter flight coming in, and that is going to chase out in the summer. So really maximizing carry and roll out with that ball flight. Let's have a quick look at the club data. The interesting thing that stands out there straight away is on average, I actually struck the DS-ADAPT a little bit lower in the head. So the fact that it was coming out 300 revs lower in spin and I was striking it a bit lower in the face on averages really shows how much lower spin that head actually is. Because if I'd have hit that, you know, where I was hitting the DarkSpeed up the face, it would have launched higher and it would have span a bit lower, and that would have actually given me a little bit more distance. So maybe there is a little bit more in the tank with that DS-ADAPT than this, but that's quite interesting. Swing speed, yeah, it's the same, isn't it? Like, yeah, no different there really, which is great because actually the aerodynamic properties of the DarkSpeed, and even all the way through from sort of like LTD to the Aerojet to the DarkSpeed to now DS-ADAPT, they've all been very aerodynamic. Like one of the quickest club head speed clubs out there, and I see it every day in Fizz, to be honest. So that's really great. They haven't lost, they maybe even gained fractionally. I know that that was a bit of a story that I heard about really trying to tweak the aero. It's already very good. They're going to really struggle, I think, to make that better. So maybe fractionally better, efficiency the same. You know, the ball speed was pretty much the same. Now that's interesting, isn't it? More dynamic loft. More dynamic loft, which created lower launch and lower spin. Okay, the strike was fractionally low, which may explain the launch coming down a fraction, but that, yeah, don't know, doesn't make sense. The other thing that's quite interesting is the dynamic lie, because I both had them set on standard, and I don't know if there has been a tweak made to the DS-ADAPT in terms of the lie angle when compared to the old one. I wouldn't imagine that there would have been, but it is coming out 3 degrees more toe up. I mean, it doesn't look any more upright, I'll be honest, at dress than the old one, but that's how it was coming out. The rest fairly comparable. Angle of attack was only half a degree in it. Path was 0.6 to 1.3 and face was 0.2 to 1.2. So again, about a degree, which for human consistency, I'm pretty happy with, trying to keep a fair test. So yeah, some interesting stuff going on there. So here's the bad news. Forgiveness will have to wait, unfortunately. The good news is the next video coming, you've all been asking for a long time. Bladed 5-iron, this game improvement 7-iron at the same loft. And I do it at 5-iron length, and then I cut it down to 7-iron length as well. Fascinating test, and Tom was doing the hitting there for me because my lower back's pretty much gone, unfortunately. Hence why the forgiveness test in this video will have to wait. I did try hitting a few more after I did the performance section that you just watched. It didn't feel good. And then I hit a couple more, really didn't feel good at all. Came in the next day to try and hit a few 7-irons, just not good. So I really don't want to risk kind of throwing it out. If any of you followed me for a while, especially on Instagram, you know I don't have a good lower back at all. My swing's terrible for it. So I'm going to have a couple weeks out. So we'll leave this video there today as kind of a good, just initial review, initial test, head-to-head performance against the old model. You know, still got some great numbers there. Really interesting to see those. Love to hear your thoughts on this video, the numbers that we saw, and also just your general take on the new DS-ADAPT drivers. I think they actually look great. I think they're going to be really good. I'm a fan of the sleeve as well, to be honest. You know, we'll do a video more testing on that to come as well. Do stay tuned. Obviously, I'll get Tom to do the hitting now for a couple of weeks. He's our new fitter. He's been in a couple of videos. He'll be the hitter, and I'll just be chilling out behind the PC, really, looking at all the numbers and resting up the back. So we will do a review on the X, the Max D, the Max K, put it up against the tight list, maybe is that still current. All the new stuff coming in Jan as well, Ping, Callaway, TaylorMade, you know, all the new releases. So loads more to come. So please stay tuned for that. Please do consider subscribing if you like the channel. We are trying our best to grow. We really are. We appreciate the support. We appreciate you watching. Thank you. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.